Today we're going to be talking about self-love. It's something that has become almost like we say we have it for ourselves, but do we really have it for ourselves? Sometimes when you look at yourself, especially as a woman, you look at your imperfections, you look at your stretch marks, you look at your spots, you look at this bit of you that perhaps you don't like so much, that part of you that you don't like so much, and it is very, very, very easy for those things to get you down and to make you feel some type of. And I'm not saying that I don't get those feelings as well. Like everyone, I feel like is very natural. It's a very natural thing for us all to go through a period of time or to go through a stage where it's like, oh, I don't quite like that. That being said, like you do things to work on these things, isn't it? That's what the goal is at the end of the day. For example, if you don't like the way that you are right now in terms of your weight, for instance, you know, weight is a thing that us girls, our thick girls, yeah, and thin girls, we struggle with a lot. You know, like the whole weather thing all over again. When it's hot, we want it to be cold, and when it's cold, we want it to be hot. With that being said, it's like, for example, our thin girls, our slim, thin, beautiful, slim, beautiful ladies all want to be a bit more curvaceous. Not all, some want to be more curvaceous. And our curvaceous ladies, our beautiful curvy mamas, like curvy girls, like our thick girls, some of them want to lose weight. Whatever end of the spectrum you're on, like you want to make some sort of changes to the way that you look. And there are things that can be done. Obviously, you can lose weight and you can look into, you know, finding a nutritious way, a healthy way of you gaining a bit more weight. But I want to talk more about self-love in terms of you being healthy on the inside. It's quite simple. Self-love, being able to love oneself, being able to have appreciation for yourself, being able to have love for yourself in the way that you have been created. You know, the Bible says that we've been fearfully and wonderfully made. You know, the Bible says that God has created us in his image. You know what I mean? And I believe that he's made no mistakes. Yes, there are bits of me that, you know, I would want to change here and there. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I've got my days and I look in the mirror, I'm like, why am I doing? Do you know what I mean? You know, you find one spot, like one visitor on your head, and you're thinking, what is going like? And you actually want to have a meltdown. But with that being said, like there's things that I've had to learn to appreciate and to love about my nose, for instance. Like this button nose that everyone finds so cute, and like I always looked at my nose and think, oh my gosh, what kind of nose is this? You know what I mean? And you know, I'm pretty sure some of us out here are going through a period of time where perhaps we're really struggling to love on ourselves. Before anyone can really appreciate you, you need to learn how to love yourself. And when you have self-love, you have self-worth. And someone that doesn't have self-love will settle for the most ridiculous of things. Do you know what I mean? Why? Because you haven't yet understood what it is that you deserve. You haven't been able to give it to yourself. What I mean by that is what often happens is we deprive ourselves from the things that we deserve because we feel like we don't deserve it, because we're not a certain way, we don't look a certain way, we don't act a certain way, we don't have a certain thing, you know, and that causes us to end up, especially like for example in relationships, we settle for a diminished version of love. Why? Because we do not have that self-love, or if we have self-love, we only have like this much. So you need to have this much self. My fiance tells me on a daily basis how beautiful I am and how much he loves me and how this and that and this and that, the list goes on to what this young man will be saying. Do you know what I mean? He'll be like, which is my response to that is, I know. No, the reason why I say it like that is because it took me a very long time to love on myself, to appreciate myself. I've spoken about my weight journey. I've spoken about being, you know, very unhappy in my weight, in my skin, and I've spoken a little bit about how that caused me to feel and what negative connotations. I didn't really talk about the main reasons why also that was happening. I had abandonment issues. You know, it felt like, but it was at the same time that everyone that was coming into my life at one point or another was just one by one exiting. You know, whether it was a friend, whether it's family, whether it was whoever, like I felt like they were here and then they were gone. Because I had those abandonment issues, I ended up linking those people walking out of my life with the fact that they must be walking out because it's my fault, because of something I've done, or because they just don't want to be with. So I was just like, oh, what if these people don't even want to be with me? I don't even want to be with myself. Ended up having a negative imagery of myself. You know, another reason, again, like I've said, was my because I was extremely slim, you know, and a lot of people would say things like, you would be much prettier if you had a bit more weight on you, you would be much this, you would be much that if you had a bit more weight on you. Oh, look at your younger siblings, your younger cousins, nieces, nephews have more weight on them than you. Do you know what I mean? And these things were really putting me down, and they made me feel even more conscious about the way that I looked. Do you know what? Like, the self-love came with a decision at the end of the day. The decision was, this is how I am, and this is me at the end of the day. You're either with it or you ain't, you know. And I learned to love on myself. I learned to look at myself in the mirror and appreciate me. I learned to look at the things that I liked about myself, like my brows, my smile, my fake little, I got like these fake little dimples on the side of my lips, my small teeth, my lips. You know, I started to appreciate the things that I did like about myself. And again, going back to the word, because I was reading my word and I was seeing that God was saying that he had created us in his imagery, I was like, he couldn't have made a mistake. No. He couldn't have made a mistake with the way that I look or anything like that, you know. And I dealt with past bitterness, past depressions, you know. I dealt with depression, I dealt with my anxieties, I dealt with my anger, I dealt with so many things that were also linked into the fact that also linked into the reason as to why I didn't have self-love. I dealt with them one by one, and at the end of it, I felt much happier. Do you know what I mean? I was a happier person. I was emotionally more stable. Do you know what I mean? I could look at myself and be like, you know what, girl, you bomb. I had to be that for myself. Do you know what I mean? Especially in times where I had no one to tell me these things. I had to do it for myself. You know, I wasn't trying to rely on a man to come and tell me you are beautiful, for me to know that I'm beautiful, when my creator and my father in heaven already says that I'm perfectly made. Do you know what I mean? That I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I wasn't trying to rely on the acceptance of others to let myself know that I am beautiful. I believe that beauty starts from within, because there's so many girls outside, and I've heard this countless time, you know, there's no shade or anything, I've heard this countless time that there are so many beautiful women out there, but as soon as they open their mouth, it's a complete and utter turn off, or it's like you feel like I cannot be around this sort of person because of, you know, how foul the person's mouth. But when you're beautiful inside and out, do you know what I mean, it's just more of a beauty. Love on yourself, appreciate yourself, big yourself up. Do you know what I mean? Learn to appreciate what you have and what you don't. Do you know what I mean? Another thing is assets. You know, some people have good assets up here, some people have good assets down here, and some people don't. Some people are part of the eat committee, and that is absolutely. But just being able to love you for you is such an important thing. Do you know what I mean? If we're going to be on this world, if we're going to be on this earth, would you not rather spend your time appreciating, you know, appreciating the glory of God that is found in you? Because when I look at myself, I look at the glory of God. I look at how much of a resemblance I am to my God, to my Father. I look at how he's made me. I look at the time that he spent on making sure my eyes were like this, my nose was like this, my hands were like this. Do you know what I mean? This takes effort at the end of the day, and I feel like when we don't have self-love and we do not appreciate what it is that we say to God, like you wasted your time creating. No, in this life that I'm living, I'm gonna be here rooting for myself, like, girl, you are looking amazing today, you look beautiful. And this isn't just for girls, this is also for guys. Do you know what I mean? However God has created you, however you are, you know, your height, your length, your skin tone, whether you have a beard, whether you don't have a beard, whether you've got them little balding spots coming through, if you have pointy ear, if you have straight ear, listen, that is how you have been created. This is how you came on the earth. As soon as you learn how to love you, you will find a human being that also appreciates exactly the same things. And my small teeth, like my whole life, I've been hearing your teeth look like sweet corn. You have the tiniest teeth. Did your teeth even fall out in childhood? But then my fiance came along and he said, this girl has the cutest smile ever. And I was just like, what? Examine yourself. Do you love yourself? If you love yourself, what things is it that, you know, what things are you allowing to happen to you that you shouldn't be allowing to happen to you? Look at these things, you know what I mean? Because I know I love myself, therefore I would not want any harm to come to myself. I would not want anything bad to happen to me, and I would not put myself in a position that is beneath me. You know, when you love yourself, you will not put yourself in a position that is beneath you. When you love yourself, you will rate yourself, and the way you rate yourself will make people rate you as well. When you love yourself, you are presenting yourself in a certain way. Your shoulders are high. You know, you're walking not to be not to look proud, but also to be proud. Why? Because like I said, you've been created. You know, there's someone that took time on you, so why not appreciate what it is he took his time to do? What will get you through. This is what will get you through some dark times, you know what I mean? Because people can be very malicious, and people can be very hurtful, and people can be very deceiving. One might see something in you that you can't see in yourself because you don't have self-love, and they'll be trying to do things to put you down. But if you have self-love, you'll know that that's just a hater. Oh, so you decided to wear that? Oh, that's not nice. Like, for instance, if someone comes to me and says to me, oh, your top is not nice. Listen, when I bought it in the shop, I thought it was nice at the end of the day. So there's nothing that you're going to say to me that's going to stop me from thinking that this top is nice. If this top is not nice, I didn't ask you at the end of the day. I think this top is nice, hence why I bought it, for money that was in my pocket that I went to work to go and earn. So therefore, whatever anyone's gonna say to me means absolutely diddly squat. I'm looking at myself thinking, damn, girl. Again, it took me a very long time to get here. It took me time. I had to sit down and evaluate myself. I had to sit down and look at all of these things that I absolutely hated about myself. And I put them in boxes. I said, can I change this without going under the knife? No. Can I change this about myself? No. So therefore, I'm going to learn to live with it. I'm going to learn to love it, and I'm going to learn to appreciate. When you look at people who are born without legs, limbs, or people who are mute, people who cannot see, people, you know, there's anything wrong with that at all. But when you are now someone who has 2 kobos, yeah, appreciate it. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm definitely sure that there are a few people out there who unfortunately cannot see, that would love to be able to just be able to see the sky and see how blue it is. To be able to describe blue is not the same as looking at a blue clear sky with clouds. It's not the same. When I started working on my issues, my own personal problems and things like that, I started to open up. Do you know what I mean? I started to open up to the point where people were like, oh, what did you take? What did you drink? What did you come and put in your body? No, all this stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. What do you guys want? When I was slim, you guys were talking about me. Now that I've put on weight, you guys still want to be talking. Again, you just need to learn to love yourself, because now that I've put on the weight, people are still coming for me. You just can't please the world. You can't. You just need to please yourself. You need to be happy in your own skin, happy the way you are. Love on yourself, sis. Love on yourself, bro. It is extremely important. It's really, really important for you to put yourself on a high pedestal, put yourself in a prestigious place, you know, because like I said, no one's gonna put you on that pedestal. You need to put yourself on there, because then you will not tolerate nonsense. You will not tolerate people speaking to you anyhow. You will not tolerate any sort of negativity. Obviously, I'm not telling anyone to be like argumentative or anything like that, but you know, you just have that kind of maturity in you anyways to be able to know how to deal with certain situations that will arise. So think about how much God loves us. He loved us enough to give up his only son for us to be here, and you are now here crying about, oh, because you don't have this, you don't have that. My sister, my brother, you need to love what it is. However you were created, there's no mistakes in the way that you were created. I feel like even for young women, young men growing up in a society where, you know, we are so exposed to social media and what social media deems acceptable, how, you know, how social media portrays, you know, how people are supposed to look, how we're supposed to be, you know, that is all a facade. If you get yourself sucked into social media, you'll be crying a river. Do you know what I mean? You'll really be crying a river. Listen, do not get yourself involved in all this social media stuff. In fact, take breaks, take proper breaks from social media, because social media will have you thinking you're not beautiful. Social media will have you thinking you are not good enough. Social media will have you thinking, you know, you need to work on your body, you need to lose weight, you need to gain weight, your smile is crooked, you need to brighten your teeth, you need to get plastic surgery, you need to do X, Y, and shade. To anyone who, you know, has gone under the knife or does X, Y, and Z, that is your own that's your own business with yourself. But I strongly do believe in working first on your interior, what's going on in your heart, before going underneath the knife, before doing all of these things. Learn to deal with your emotions and your feelings, and learn to deal with those deep, dark things that you choose to suppress and to ignore. Do you know what I mean? Because those are also linked in with self-love and everything. So yeah, just don't get yourself sucked into all of these things that social media will present before you, because obviously it's a whole propaganda thing. Social media is there to draw people in. Social media is there to make money off people, you know. So if you get yourself sucked into all of these things that are going on, it's not, you know, it's not the one at the end. If you feel like there's something that is like a burden on you in terms of health wise, you know, being excessively slim or being excessively overweight and all of these things, whatnot, listen, there's no harm in you going to see your GP. There's no harm in you going to see someone to talk about, you know, these things that you can do to better yourself, to be more healthy. Your own motivation. If you feel like you need to lose weight and you've been struggling with your weight, and that is what's getting you down and making you feel like, oh, I'm this and that, and you know, you feel some type of way about yourself, sis, listen, work hard. Everything that we do in life, we need to work for. Do you know what I mean? Everything good, you need to work for. Everything that, you know, that is worth it, you need to work for at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? To feel just a bit more better about yourself at the end of the day, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But something that is a mental thing that you need to deal with, speak to people. You know, if you're religious, speak to your pastor, speak to whoever's in charge, get some spiritual guidance. If you're not a therapist, there's counseling sessions that you can go to. There's so many things that are available online, you know. There's so many things that are available out here. Emotional freedom, I guess, or like being able to deal with your emotions and things that, you know, emotional trauma. Love yourself, honestly. Love yourself, appreciate yourself, all of that jazz. Do not let anyone come and tell you anything about yourself. You know what I mean? Self-love is key.